Welcome to the Dogon podcast. I just did the Tristan point. Yes. I wasn't going to. I was just going to say welcome, but here we are.
You gotta have the pointing.
People are like, is he pointing at me?
Yes.
Yes,
right
we
at
are.
You.
Right at you. But today we're going to just kind of talk about what's going on in our lives, what's going on in the world. I got a crazy story I can start with.
Yeah, I mean, it includes a gun.
Yep, it does. And if you're on TikTok, hopefully they let this clip go.
Right.
But yeah, I was I got up at 4 a.m. the other day, and I've been trying to get back to getting up at 4 a.m. every morning. And so I get up, I get my coffee. I did like push-ups and a quick ab circuit, and then I got my coffee and I went outside. Yes, I was smoking a cigarette. I know, it's bad. I got back into that a little bit, but anyways.
Yeah.
So I'm drinking a cup of coffee, smoking a cig, and there's like two guys and two girls in the pool, and they're like, making out. They're like, and then I realized like, oh, that's their bathing suits along the outside. So they're skinny dipping in the pool, and I'm like, whatever. So I like pull my chair back a little bit further to the railing, so I can't really see over the edge, and so I'm just like letting them have their fun, letting them do their thing. Right. I was going through my phone, drinking my coffee. I usually sit out there until my cup of coffee's done, then I come in
But I mean, let me just add in that when you're skinny dipping in a public pool, what do you really expect?
Yeah.
I mean, people wake up at any time they want. So,
yeah. And when you're skinny dipping in a public pool, that's literally surrounded by 20
surrounded
units.
by a million windows that people can just look out their window and just watch.
Even if you didn't want to listen, you can't help it with how thin the windows are. You can hear them, so it's like,
and if you want to go out on your balcony, it's literally facing these people. So
this is my, and I've had a couple people say before, like, we're trying to enjoy the pool. Oh, well, I'm trying to enjoy my balcony.
Enjoy my fucking space that I pay for, bitch.
Like, what are you talking about? So most of the time people are pretty good. They're like, oh, you live there? And it's like, no, I was just sitting outside someone's random door. Like, what do you think? But anyways, so I'm sitting down there, and this other guy gets up for work. I see him like, down, on the opposite side of the pool. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh, this guy's about to say something. I know it. And he kind of peeks his head out. And the guy's like, looks like we got 2 peeping toms, you fucking bitches, you motherfucker. Like, it starts flipping out. And I'm like, well, I only see one guy. And he's like, go back inside, fucking loser, you bitch. Like, saying this to me. And I'm like, I'm drinking my coffee. I was like, I'm fine. You guys have your fun, but I wouldn't yell. The cops get called here all the time. I wouldn't yell. And he was like, fuck you, bitch, like just going off on me. And, and then, to the point where he won't stop screaming. So I'm like, all right, I'm going down there. So I take my coffee down there. I go down there, and I'm just like, guys, stop yelling. And they're like, oh, this guy's ready. And so one of them jumps the fence, so drunk that he just literally onto the concrete, like so hard, where I was like, oh my gosh, like, how did he not fucking like, if he would have hit his head, he would have been done.
Right.
But he hit his shoulder dead on, just body checked the floor. He stumbles up, he's like falling over. I'm like there to like catch him, and he's like, then he gets in my face and he's like, I'm gonna beat your ass, and I'm like, whoa, bro. And his other buddy comes, jumps the fence. And now these are like, skinny 20-year-old kids, you know what I mean? Like, at this point I'm like, all right, these guys are too drunk. They got a glass bottle sitting in the pool. I was like,
right.
I was like, let's just chill them out. I'm like, guys, I'm telling you, you need to stop yelling. If you keep yelling like this, people are going to call the police. The guy below me is one of the head maintenance guys. He'll call the police. I was like, you guys need to stop. And he was like, oh, just wait. And all of a sudden, a third guy shows up. They called their buddy. And, right before this, I was like, all right, drop one, drop the other, go inside. I was like, that's, I'm like looking at them, seeing how they move. I'm like, all right.
And
then this guy rolls up, and he rolls up with a different kind of calm and confidence that you don't normally see in people. One that I've only seen with people who carry a gun, And so as he's like squaring up on me, I'm like, backing up. I'm like, guys, stop. There's 3 of them. Their girls are like screaming shit too, like, crazy. But anyway, so like I'm backing up. I'm like, guys, stop yelling. There's a lot of people around here. Stop yelling. I would just stop yelling. And he's like, oh yeah, the only person who's gonna stop talking is you. And I like looked at the guy like, what are you talking about? And he was like, I'm ready to go. You ready to go? And I was like, no. I was like, I got my coffee. My Crocs aren't even in sport mode. I was like, no, I'm not ready to go, bro. I'm telling you, just shut the fuck up. Like, shut up. Stop making noise, or else the cops will be called. And he's like, you gonna call the cops? I'm like, no, I don't call the cops. I'm just saying the cops come here all the time. Like, we were in the pool the day before at like 9 o'clock, the cops came.
Right.
You know, like people just in this little area, because it's so close to the pool, call the cops. It's just, they're like, this is annoying to me. I'm just going to get a cop out here, and people leave.
Right.
And, you know, so then as this guy's like coming around me, I'm like backing up more. And as I go around this sign, he goes like this, and he's like, I'm ready. And he lifts up his shirt and shows his gun that he has in his pants. And so at this point, I'm like, fuck, I can't swing on this guy. I can't swing on these guys. There's a gun involved now. Right. So I'm trying to say, shut up, be quiet, stop, you know. And I get all the way back to like my steps to where my apartment is, just by backing up and being like, guys, stop, like, just knock it off. We're not doing this. And they're just constantly screaming at me. And you know, and finally they walk away. They start leaving. I'm like, all right, see you guys later. You know, have a good morning. You know, and I walk back upstairs, and I hear them like a few minutes later, because they're drunk as fuck, you know, so they're like yelling to each other, and they come walking back, and, you know, all of a sudden I see a cop coming around, and I'm like, oh shit, cops here. So I go inside, because I don't like to deal with, you know, any type of complaints with police. It's just annoying. They have a lot of questions. You gotta, you know, so it's like, I don't need that. You know what I mean? Right. And so they go back to their apartment area. It looks like, you know, somewhere in the general region over there. And the cop comes around and stops where you can see the pool. And I'm inside. I look down. I see their glass bottle sitting there right by the pool. And I'm like, oh, fuck, this cop's going to get out. He's going to be looking around here now. Like, that's just annoying. And cop didn't. He like drove away, must not have seen it. So I was like, cool. So I go down there to grab this glass bottle that's sitting on the edge of the pool, because you're not supposed to have glass in there. Apparently, you're not supposed to have alcohol at all. Yeah. I mean, now the apartment complex said that. But anyways, so I go down there, and I go to grab this glass bottle, and all three of them come back, and they're like, you called the police on us? And I'm like, no. And I go back upstairs, and I'm inside, and I hear boom, boom, boom. So they're coming upstairs. You know, I'm on the 3rd floor. So they come all the way up to the 3rd floor, knocks on my door. One of the guys stayed down a little bit. I could tell once he saw me up close, he was like, all right, well, maybe this guy's a little different. Maybe, you know, like I could tell they were confused why I wasn't concerned. Right. You know, while I was like trying to calm them down, but, you know, I wasn't worried. You know, even with the gun there, like, you know, are you really going to shoot me over this, bro? Like, and so one of them stayed down. One of them was like, stayed down like one flight of steps, like 6 steps, and the other 2 were up here. And he's like, this guy's like, the guy with the gun's like leaning against my door, and he's like, and his buddy's like, don't go in, you know, he can defend himself. I'm like, I'm not going to defend myself from you guys at my door, ask me questions. If you guys get violent, that's a different thing. So then we're sitting there for a few minutes. He's just asking me questions, and he's like, did you call the police? Did you? I'm like, no, dude, I do not call the police. I don't do that. I'm from a part of Michigan, you know, the Metro Detroit area, where, you know, you don't call the police on each other. You know what I mean? Right. Your neighbors handle it. You take care of each other. And so the guy's going back and forth constantly, and then he's finally like, I believe you. And I was like, I don't need you to believe me or not, bro. Like, I didn't call the police. Like, you know, it doesn't matter. You guys 3-on-1 threatened me. I was like, your buddies call you out of your, apartment to defend them from being idiots. And you almost get yourself in some serious trouble with a gun as a felon. And you think, what, I'm going to have a problem with you now? I'm like, I don't care. I think you're, like a young kid who's trying to like prove that he's hard. And it's like, well, I've been in fights where guys black out and they don't get up the same way. Right. I've been in fights where people have been seriously hurt. So, I do everything I can to de-escalate that situation, especially if you have a gun. I'm not going to try to push that. So finally they walk away. And I'm just like in here, just like, man, this is crazy. Like, I can't believe any of that shit happened. I can't believe, and then the one guy comes back again. And this time was very different. He was like, asking me questions about his friends. I'm like, look, dude, your friends were fucked up. I was telling them to shut the fuck up or else they were going to get in trouble. And you guys almost got in trouble. I was like, that's what happened. Right. I was like, not by me, he's like, then who called the police? I'm like, I don't know.
Somebody you were yelling at.
There's 20 fucking units right here that could hear all of you guys going back and forth yelling each other's names for 30 minutes. Like that ain't on me. And so I ended up talking to this guy for a little bit. I even gave him a cigarette, because he was all like, they couldn't find their vape and he was stressing out, and then one of the girls found it and took it, and so he was all like pissed. I know how it is when you need to smoke. Right. I'm like, hey bro, take a smoke. And then he's like showing me, oh, I got money, I got this, I got that. I'm like, cool, man. Then why the fuck would you risk all that coming over here? And he's like, and I got the feeling that he was more mad at his buddies than at me at that point.
Yeah.
Where he was just like, fuck, this guy didn't do fucking shit. You know, he was literally looking out for my friends who were being stupid. And then they almost got me in some serious shit because they were being, you know, and it's like, but overall, it was like in that moment when I had 3 guys ready to jump me, one of them, I could see the gun. He kept just going like this, like, oh, you know, and the other guy's like, I'm going to kill you on God, I'm going to kill you. And I was like, listen, boy, I was like, you need to calm down. I was like, that's a very serious thing to me. You tell me you're going to kill me, I take that seriously.
Right.
You tell me you're going to kill me, I take that seriously. So, and his buddy, and when I told his buddy that too, you know, the guy with the gun, I was like, dude, he said he was going to kill me. And he was like, he did? I was like, yeah. Before he got there, he said, on God, I'm going to kill you. And I was like, what do you do in that situation? He's like, I smoke them. And I'm like, exactly.
Smoke 'em?
I was like, exactly, bro. I was like, what would you do if somebody said that to you? And he's like, yeah, no, I get it. And I was like, I didn't even do that. I said, hey, calm down. I was like, I let it go. And I said, guys, you can, you know, talk shit to me. Just do it quietly so that the police don't get called. Okay, it's fine. I'm not mad. I was already awake at 4. I don't care what you guys are doing. I think my thought right before they started yelling at me, I was like, that's badass. Those guys are down there with them girls. I was like, good job, guys. Like, that's some fun times, middle of the night. Like, hey, let's go skinny dipping in the pool. You know, like that's, you know, girls love that shit. You know what I mean? So like, I was actually happy for these guys. They were just too fucked up to see reality. And it was,
right.
But for a second there, I was like, all right, I might get shot. This shit's going to go. This shit's going to pop off. And
could have.
Yeah. It could have. I'm glad it didn't, but and of course, right after they all leave, there, you know, like 5 other people come out, you know, like going to work and shit, and so they're like, and
they probably
like,
heard it.
Oh yeah, like the one guy, you know, below us was like, man, I was getting out of the shower and I was like, what the fuck's going on out there, you know, but that was my crazy almost jumped by 3 story, and the last thing I did say to the guy, I was like, hey, if you guys all 3 want to, you know, rush me one day, I was like, just line up in single file. I was like, let's not do this 3-on-1. I was like, we can, but let's not do that. Let's just do single file. You guys say you like to get your hits in, because the guy was like, man, if my buddies are fighting, he's like, I like to get my hits in. You know, I like to do my part. And I was like, cool. If you want to do that, we can do that one-on-one anytime you want. You know, and we can do it with a level of honor and a level of respect to each other as men, and be done. I was like, it's legal in Texas. We can do, you know, we can agree to combat and have fun. You know, why not do that? And he's like, I'd be down. I was like, dude, I'll get some gear. Do you want to spar right now? And he was like, no. And it's like, come on, man. Like, you know, but so that was my interaction. And now, normally I could have just been like, I could have just went inside and not tried to quiet them down. But it's a big thing to me where if like all of them are drunk, they're all falling over, they're all, so if like nobody there had the right thought process of like, oh, we could get in trouble, or oh, if the cops came, where would we run? We're at this apartment right here, they will find us. Like, you know, so I was trying to be like, guys, stop. I've seen this happen. I mean, I've literally, like, we live right next to the pool. I have videotaped the police coming here like 20 times.
Right.
You know, it's like,
they do come here all the time, and usually unprovoked even.
Yeah. No, yeah. A lot of times I feel like nobody even calls. They just like, they pass through here. It's like a cut through.
Yeah, sometimes.
And they, you know, and if they see somebody at the pool, or if they see, you know, even if it's like still, like they came out to us when the pool was still open. It's open till 10. And they came out and were like, what are you guys doing? And it's like, what do you mean? What are we doing? We're sitting at the pool, like
swimming.
Yeah, but so it was a crazy experience overall. I always try to go friend before foe. It got real close to where it wasn't going to be a choice of mine, but I do think in the end, even with the guy with the, you know, or you know, that came up with the gun, in the end, I still think when I see that guy next, it's going to be like, hey, what's up, man? Boom, and that's going to be it.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see.
I don't know. The way it ended was good for everybody involved, because nobody wanted to kill each other after that. But
right, like I never wanted to kill them at all. Like, even when he had the gun, I was like, bro, don't, like, if that gets pulled, like this could go south real fast.
Right.
You know, so many people in Texas have guns. They hear a pop, they're excited. They're running outside ready to get theirs too.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're gonna get shot by like 14 different Bobs.
Yeah, straight up. And they're gonna be like, I've been concealed carry permit before it was legal.
Waiting for
you know,
that
like
shit.
they're waiting for it. You know, so it's like, you know, for me, I'm just glad that it didn't escalate to that. But I tried to, you know, give some wisdom on the kid, you know, and be like, look, man, if you really had, he's showing me pictures of money and shit. I'm like, if you really had that money, if you really got that cash stacked up, and you need to make smart decisions that you keep it. I was like, listen to Eric Thomas from Detroit. Listen to him. He's a motivational speaker. He'll tell you about his game and how he hustled for cash like that and where he ended up because of it. And, just tried to kind of push him towards that. And, he seemed like he had a good head on his shoulder. He probably just got put in a bad spot years ago and just doesn't know any better. But, all good kids. Like I said, I was impressed with them. I thought it was badass what they were doing. I'm all for breaking the rules to have fun, as long as it ain't hurting nobody else. And waking somebody up at 4 a.m. to me ain't even hurting somebody else either. Like if they would have woken me up and I had to, and I didn't get a lot of sleep that last night, I still wouldn't have. I would have gone out there and been like, yeah, buddy. Good job, boys. And then one of the things I said to his buddy when he came back, is he was like, yeah, my friends will be fine. They're fine. And I'm like, well, your one buddy's got to ice that shoulder, bro. I was like, I'm telling you, tell him to get ice on that tonight, or else it's gonna hurt a lot tomorrow. And he was like, all right, bet, yeah, for sure. Definitely will. And it was just like, I don't know. It was just so. It was a weird situation.
Very
for sure.
Strange for sure.
But yeah, that was my jump. Now, what would you have done in that situation?
Me personally, if there was a bunch of drunk people yelling at me from the fucking pool, I would probably just went inside. But I don't like to get involved in altercations, especially ones I know I can't fucking finish. So
yeah. Now, see, I had no problem thinking I could finish those two. Like,
yeah, I'm not built like that, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you got the speed. I think you could do more than you think, but
I've never been in a fight, so I don't really know my abilities.
There was this time at a place we were working where this guy was being completely psychotically disrespectful to his wife, like openly in front of everybody in the restaurant, just like, saying shit to her, and just like she's sitting down like this, like. Yeah. And he's like yelling at her.
Oh,
like,
yeah. I remember that.
And that's when I learned a lot about who Tristan really is. Because when I was like, hey, knock it. I
forgot about that.
I was like, knock it the fuck off. I finally said something to the guy because everyone's like, no, leave it. Like, we know him.
I was actually about to fight that guy.
Yeah.
That was the closest I've ever been, I think.
Yeah, because I was like, knock it off. He's like, you want a piece of me? And I was like, if that's what it's got to be. And I like look, and Tristan's walking up like, fuck yeah, let's go.
And I was like, drunk off my ass too. I probably wouldn't have done that if I wasn't, but
it was pretty badass to see, like, because this guy, he's a big stocky guy. He's not tall, but he's a stocky guy. Yeah.
Like, there was not a fuck in my mind that gave it,
because we saw this woman just like curling up in front of everybody.
That pissed me off a lot. So,
and you know what pissed me off the most though? The other people that were standing around.
Oh, I know, they didn't care. And that's another thing that made me want to do it, because if nobody else is, like, I'm not going to leave her and let her just fucking sit there and rot.
Right? Like, being embarrassed in front of an entire restaurant.
Yeah.
Like, being talked to like garbage. Like, it scared me for what her home life is like.
I know.
And that's what made me be like, listen, buddy, this is done. And that guy probably would have taken the skin off my face if he got me. Right. He's a stockier guy, so if he hit me,
I just knew he was drunk off his ass, and I was going to try to just be real quick with it.
Yeah. The only difficulty is, like, I was thinking about it with these two guys too. Like, when it was just the two guys, I was like, all right, Alex, you're probably gonna have to hit him a couple times. They're that drunk. Yeah. He just shoulder checked the floor.
And he didn't even fucking realize it.
He didn't even realize it. He probably broke a fucking rib and he didn't even realize it. So there is that difficulty when people are drunk, but you also have that spatial awareness. Like, one of the best things to do, if you're fighting somebody who's bigger than you that's drunk, is make unnecessary movements.
Yeah.
Because if you like moved side to side, they're
going to try to follow you and fucking die.
Yeah, they just can't, it's hard for them to focus and hard for them to, see what you're doing and be like, you'll see them like block shit that isn't there, but whenever somebody's that drunk, I'm like, I ain't fighting you, I'm defending myself. You know what I mean? Like I'll just calm somebody down. If they swing at me, I'll stop them, but like, I'm never going to like pummel somebody who's drunk. You know what I mean?
I was really drunk, so I was ready to fucking go off on that guy.
Well, he deserved it. He deserved it. That was messed up. That was hard to watch, and it made me look differently at the people that just stood by and did nothing.
I know.
It
was an establishment of people that didn't really give a fuck. So.
Yeah. Like 3 guys bigger than me too.
Yeah.
No fucks given.
They
no
didn't
cares.
give a damn.
And one of the guys, I even said something. I'm like, dude, I was like, I gotta fucking do something here. I was like, this is fucking. He was like, don't get involved in their marriage. And I was like, what? Like,
you just fucking.
That ain't marriage.
What?
Like, him talking to her like she's garbage is not marriage. Like that is a trauma bond situation that she can't escape.
Yeah.
Period.
I mean, there was just no reason for it, really.
But yeah, so that was my exciting morning, my second morning getting up at 4 a.m. in a row, and it was worth it. I did not need my coffee that day. Right. I'll tell you that much, because by the time I got done, my half cup of coffee was cold, and I was just like, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
But I didn't need it anymore. But yeah, my favorite part is I was like, dude, my Crocs aren't even in sport mode. And the one guy was like, what the fuck did he just But like, I don't know. It was pretty wild. But that's pretty much all I got to say about that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that story. That'll probably turn into a lot of funny clips.
That was a good one.
That'll get banned, but it'll be worth it. Not on YouTube. YouTube lets it go.
TikTok doesn't like any sort of violence unless it's like full-on gore for some reason.
Yeah,
so.
If it's like graphically messed up and like in the background a little bit, they're totally down with it.
Fine with it.
See you guys.
See ya.